Welcome to the 2020 British Grand Prix Race Day Review. Oh boy. What a race. What a race. But not at the beginning. At the beginning of the race, it was like watching paint dry. Literally watching paint dry. From the beginning of the race, even to halfway through the race, I could have went to the toilet and done a number one or even a number two. That's how entertained. I would have got more entertainment on the toilet than watching this race at the beginning. It was the same shit. Started off. Hamilton shooted off straight away, 2 seconds ahead of Bottas, whatever it is. It was over. I think it's just a thought, you know what's going to happen. Hamilton's going to win, Bottas is going to go second. That's it. It's all over. But as the race was progressing, people were complaining about the tyres. People were complaining about the vibrations on the cars. Tyres are not feeling good. And what an ending to a great race. Bottas flying off with his tyres, this and that. Lewis Hamilton's tyres flying off. Max Verstappen pitting at the wrong time. Woo! It ended up being a boring race at the beginning. And toward the last 8 minutes of the race, it became probably one of the greatest finishes of a race that I've ever seen. One of the great finishes. It was absolutely amazing. My friends were standing, my friends were sitting on the hands. When they saw Bottas, and when Crofty made that mistake, when Crofty come out on the mic and says, Lewis Hamilton tyres are gone as well. Oh my gosh. The tension in my room, the tension in my house was unbearable. I had my friends sitting on the hands and my friends getting ready to go in the car, go home, and say, I'm done with this, I'm going home. I was screaming down the road at my friends. I was saying, calm down. Calm down, it's okay. Nah, Lewis is out, Lewis is out. Tyres are gone, forget it, I'm going. He was halfway down the road. I had to get out my megaphone and start shouting on the mic. Oi guys, Crofty made a mistake. Crofty made a mistake. Everyone was on Twitter blaming. Listen, I'm not the biggest. I don't hate Crofty. I don't know him. I'm not the biggest Crofty fan in the world. He's a good commentator. I'll give him that. But even I had to defend him on this one. He just saw what popped up on his screen. And what popped up on his screen is Lewis Hamilton. There was a picture of a black Mercedes. The two cars look the same from the back. They are the same car. You didn't see the number, you just saw the rear of the car. And it come up Lewis Hamilton's name. And you just saw the tyres flying off. So Crofty is automatically going to think it's Lewis Hamilton's car. Then the TV had to correct it and put Valtteri Bottas' name. But as soon as they said Lewis Hamilton's car tyres, my front door went flying out. My mates went flying down the road in the car tail going. I had to get out my megaphone and call them down and say, come back. It was Bottas' car, it's okay. The tension in my house was unbearable. It was unbearable. But what a finish. Imagine if Max Verstappen wouldn't have pitted then. If Max Verstappen wouldn't have pitted, he would have won the race. But it weren't his fault. It weren't his fault. But Max Verstappen Red Bull was only pitting because they knew Bottas' tyres were gone. So they had a free pit stop. That's the only reason why they pitted. But as soon as they pitted, straight after, Lewis Hamilton's tyres were gone. So he was. Look, I'm going to get into that later. But what it is, it was what a race. What a climax to a race. It was absolutely fantastic. Oh, what a race! The last 10 minutes of the race, not the beginning, like I said, and not halfway through. Just at the end. I was sitting there, I was thinking, is this all we're going to get? And look, we expected Mercedes to get the win. Most people expected. If you didn't expect Mercedes to win, you were a moron. Plain and simple, right off the meat rack, moron. But I was looking forward to a good battle between Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen, and we didn't really get it, did we? We never got it. They was both on the second row, and we was expecting a nice 2 and 3 fight, but we never saw it. We didn't see it. But I'm going to get into the review. I've got loads of notes here. The race was amazing. There was about 1,000 pit stops. There's about 100,000 safety cars. So let me have my drink first. Now, before the race even started, before the race even began, Nico Hülkenberg, the guy 3-4 days ago, he was at home in his Monaco cafe drinking coffee, whatever he's drinking. He got a call from Racing Point to come and replace Sergio Perez. Done. Simple. So he comes, he gets the seat fitted, he gets 45 minutes in the simulator before he has to go onto the track. So the preparation wasn't really good. He's gearing up himself to get in the car. He finally gets in the car, he's doing practice, he's doing qualifying, everything's ready, he's in, ready to race. Race day comes, and what happens? Problem with the floor. Problems with the car. The car will not fire up properly. So he's thinking, the bad luck continues. The bad luck was it. He had bad luck in Renault, and now he's in Racing Point. He's only replacing Sergio Perez for a couple of races, just a couple of races. But the bad luck continues. The bad luck continues to follow Nico Hülkenberg. He can't fire up the car, and he's out. No race for Nico Hülkenberg. Nico Hülkenberg is probably thinking, I should have just stayed at home. I should have just stayed at home and just forget it. Because he's come here, he's twisted up his neck. This is the worst track to come back. This and Suzuka, if you had a 2-year layoff, or a year and a half, or a year and 7 months, whatever time he's had off, I know there's going to be some guy in the comment section to correct me, whatever. But if you had a certain amount of time off, when you come back into the F1, the 2 worst track that you want to go onto is Suzuka or Silverstone. And this one is Silverstone. Hot days, coming back. He had his practice session, had his qualifying session. I'm sure the next morning when he woke up, he was sore. He came into the race all confident, and his car can't fire up. So that's Nico Hülkenberg out the race. So the race starts. Lights out and away we go. Crafty called it. There you go. Hamilton was up. Bottas got a good start though. There was touch and go for a while. That first corner, Hamilton just squeezed into that first corner, just squeezing Bottas just a little bit. Charles darted forward, past Max Verstappen in the second corner, but he locked up, and then Max Verstappen took third place off Charles. Charles was third place for a little bit, but he locked up in one of the corners, and Max took him turn 4, and he was gone. Max had a better exit in turn 4. It was turn 4. It was. He locked up into turn 4. No, locked up in 3, and then turn 4 came, and Max Verstappen got a brilliant exit and passed Charles Leclerc. So it was just as it was on the pole. You had Lewis Hamilton first, Bottas second, and third you had Charles Leclerc. No, you had Max Verstappen. So I was thinking, okay, let's see what Charles is going to do, see what happens. And as the race was going, I was thinking, here we go. This is boring. I was boring already. Hamilton was pulling away. It was nearly 2 seconds. After a couple of laps, Lewis Hamilton was nearly 2 seconds in front of Valtteri Bottas. So there we go. He's just going to pull out. He's going to pull out. It's over. So, turn 4. So, all of a sudden, Ricciardo, after turn 4, that incident with Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc, brilliant exit by Max Verstappen. Ricciardo went straight into 5th. Albon went wide, and Ricciardo passed him, and Vettel went wide, Ricciardo passed him, and Ricciardo went into 5th place. That was a great little pass by Ricciardo. Vettel not feeling comfortable in the car, going wide. This is the early stages of the race. We're only on the 5th lap, and Vettel, you can see, he was just not happy with the car. Now, lap 2. This is lap 2 now. Everybody criticised Hamilton for supposedly just blatantly going into Albon. But to me, Albon's dangerous. He's a good driver, but he's a bit dangerous. Not in a good way. Albon decided to torpedo his car into Magnussen. Now, as soon as he done that, I knew straight away he's going to get a penalty. A few people on the TV were saying we don't know what's going to be. Me, my opinion, I was shouting at the TV. I was saying, that's a penalty. He went into him like a torpedo. He's the torpedo now. It's not Daniel Fiat anymore. He's not the... Vettel called Daniel Fiat a torpedo. No. Albon's a torpedo. He went straight into Magnussen, and Magnussen shot straight out like a rocket. Like it was going into space. That car just went boom! Straight in there, and he was out Magnussen. Felt sorry for Magnussen. Magnussen was in a good position. He was feeling good in the car. Like Grosjean. Hit Magnussen. Magnussen torpedoed straight into the side of the barrier. So the first safety car come out. First of 100 safety cars today. Safety car come out. Lap 6 safety car. Lap 7. Ocon pinch Stroll. It was a near takeover. It was a good. It was. Look, Ocon was going for the takeover, and he went close to Stroll, and he pinched him a little bit. It wasn't a penalty. He just pinched him it was like a half an inch. Now, lap 7, new hard tyres. Lap 7, they brought in... Now, Vettel was struggling on his tyres. Yeah? On the soft tyres. The guys behind him was on the medium tyres. So, Vettel was on the soft compound. The soft compound. Okay? So, really, he should be faster. He should be pulling away from the guys behind him. The guys in the front, listen, we know the Ferrari is not at its best. Far from its best. That's the understatement. But anyway, Vettel was struggling with his tyres. He got guys behind him, gaining on him, especially Gasly. Gasly was gaining on Vettel like nobody's business. Gasly had a brilliant race today. Fair play to Gasly. To my opinion, he's just earning his spot to go back to Red Bull. Because after Albon today, hitting Magnussen, and then getting that 5-place grid penalty, which he got a 5-place grid penalty, and then the way Gasly's driving today, and the way Gasly was driving the week before as well, 2 weeks ago, I understand why I understand why the rumours are going around the paddock now that maybe Gasly might go back to Red Bull. It's not a cert, that's just the rumours. I don't know nothing, I'm just saying what they're saying on there. But there's rumours that he might be going back to Red Bull. We don't know what's going on yet, but you can see why the rumours are starting. So, lap 30, Magnussen, Fiat smashes his car into the barrier. He goes over the rubber, over the chicane. He goes through Magnussen Beckett's, and it looked like his front wheel, his front tyre, he got a puncture. But it looked like, for me, when I saw it, the front wheel went over to the chicane, and he just slipped, and then he went into the gravel and smashed his car. It was a horrible crash. All his wheels were flying off. Another safety car come out. Another safety car. Daniel Fiat was standing there, and he looked all stressed. Look, the guy just hit a barrier over 100 miles per hour, probably more, over 100 miles per hour. If anybody hit a barrier I don't care who they are. You hit a barrier over 100 miles per hour, you're going to be shook. He looked shook. He looked like he didn't have all his bearings with him. It looked like he was all over the place, but it's understandable. He went off, and then he was standing there, and you had some moron cameraman waving a camera in his face. Come on. The guy just gone straight into a barrier, yeah. He looked shook up, yeah. And you had the moron cameraman shining the camera in his face, and Daniel Fiat just said, move the camera at my face. He just moved the camera at his face. Understandable. Lap 14, the top three, there was all pitting. All Vettel and that went into the pits. Hamilton, the top three missed the pits when the safety car come out, but when they came back round again, the top three pitted. You had Hamilton coming in, lap 14, double stacked, hard tyres. Hamilton coming, then Bottas, double stack, and after that it was Max Verstappen, and then Charles Leclerc. So the top 4 pitted not straight away on lap 13, but they pitted the lap 14 because they missed the pit stop. So the end of lap 18, resuming. Albon 5-second time penalty. Like I told you before, he was at the lap 18, and when the safety car was ended, Albon got the 5-second time penalty, which for me, he could have got a 10-second time penalty. For me, he got let off. He could have got a 10-second time penalty because it was his fault. That's it. You can't argue with it. It was his fault. So, Lando Norris was battling with Ricciardo. Norris took over Ricciardo. I think it was lap 26 maybe. Yeah, 26. No, lap 24. And Lando Norris took over Ricciardo. His teammate for next year. He took over the Ricciardo, and what a takeover by Lando Norris. So you know Lando Norris, last year he came into F1 and he was with Carlos Sainz. He was like his first time in F1. He was in F2 before, but F2 is in F1. Different kettle of fish. He comes into F1. He's playing about. He's a young lad. He's 19 years of age when he came into F1. I think he was about 19. Playing about. He was probably happy to be there. Obviously, he was dry when he was trying his best. But he was probably when he used to finish the race, he should just do his thing, do the debrief, and then go home. And that was it. But now he's applying himself. Because at the beginning of the season, I was saying in one of my videos, my early videos, I said Lando Norris, he's got the potential to be a great driver. But he needs to stop messing about, flying around, doing stupid stuff. He needs to dedicate himself to his racing. He needs to come in, and he needs to do his stuff, and he needs to dedicate himself. And now we found out today, from Ted's notebook I just watched, he said that Lando Norris is now dedicating himself. Every time he finishes the race, he's spending more time with his race engineer, and he's leaving late. He's studying. He's asking him where I'm going wrong, which he never done last season. He's asking where I've gone wrong and where can I improve in the car. And he's talking to his race engineer more, and it's showing on the track. He's dedicating himself more now, because for me, he knows Daniel Ricciardo's coming in to see. He's going to be his teammate next season. And he doesn't want Daniel Ricciardo trying to out-qualify him or hustle him. He wants to be the guy at McLaren. He wants to be the main driver. And he's applying himself now. So when Daniel Ricciardo comes next season, you know it's going to be a different story. It's going to be close between them. And he wants it like that. He's dedicating himself more, applying himself more now to the car, which is very good. And he should keep it up. Because Lando Norris, he's a good driver. But he's not, obviously he's young now, and if he applies himself now, when he gets to 23, 24, he could be winning world titles. Because McLaren's going in that way. McLaren's looking solid. McLaren's looked solid for most of the season. I know the season's only a few races in, but McLaren are looking solid. They're always getting 5th, 4th, 6th, no lower than 6 if they have, quote me. Don't, you know what I mean? What I'm saying is, he's dedicating himself more now than he did last season, and it's showing in his results. He's getting more confident in the car. He don't care about takeovers. He's going for it. Something he probably wouldn't have done last season. And good for him, Lando Norris. Good for him for British drivers for the future. So, lap 20. No, so Grosjean got a black and white flag because Sainz was trying to take over. He's trying to take over Grosjean, and Grosjean went into. No, he didn't actually go into him, but he was close. He kind of leaned towards Sainz. Sainz backed out of it, and he says, "Come on, man." He done it with Ricciardo. He never done it with Lando. He let Lando go, but he done it with Ricciardo, and he done it with Sainz. And Sainz was complaining and said, "Look, he needs to sort it out." He went to the stewards. Steward said, gave him a black and white flag. Basically, a black and white flag is a warning. The next time you do something like that again in the race, you're going to get a penalty. That's basically what it is. That's similar to what Charles Leclerc got at Monza last year, 2019, when he had that incident with Lewis, which I think he should have got a penalty, Charles, but maybe because it was at Monza and maybe it was Ferrari, you know how it is. They said, "Look, we'll give you a black and white flag." And that's what happened. I don't think Grosjean gave a shit, to be fair. Anyway, Albon medium tyres, lap 31, 5 seconds served. Came into the pits, served his 5-second time penalty, and he was gone, and he put on the medium tyres, and he was on. After that, he started going on some flyers. He got a few. he got a few fastest laps, so yeah, fair play to him. Max telling his engineer, don't forget to drink. Talking of a drink. He goes, Max chilling, having a good time. Knows he probably ain't going to win the race. Actually, he knows he ain't going to win the race, most likely. He's enjoying himself with his engineers. Say, look, go and have a drink. Don't forget to hydrate. Hydrate. Make sure you drink your water. And he was saying that on the mic to his team. And then when the camera went back to the pit team and all the guys in the garage, they was all laughing, just chilling. He's just relaxing. Max is showing his maturity now. A couple of years ago, would have been angry, mad, going in and spitting his dummy out the pram. But now he's more relaxed. He's more calm. He knows what he's capable of. He knows he's not going to win it this year. He knows he's not down to him. He knows he's down to his car, and he's not going to worry about it because there's no point of worrying about it. There's no point of stressing about it. It's something you can't do. You ain't got power over it. There's nothing you can do. We know Mercedes is the best car, and we know Red Bull is not. And that's it. And he's accepted it, and he knows the gap. Look at the gap at the beginning. Halfway, like 20 minutes into the race, the gap between the two Mercedes car and Red Bull was like 5 seconds. That is a lot. Max can push as much as he wants. I know he's a good driver. He can push as much as he wants, but come on. Come on. 5 seconds, that's a lot. So, lap 36, time penalty, 5 safety car infringement. I'll just mention that. Lap 36, Ricciardo tried to take over Grosjean, which I've gone over that as well. Ricciardo tried to take over Grosjean, and Grosjean moved again. Like he done with Sainz, he moved again. Grosjean pit, lap 37, at the hard tyres on. Kimi had a puncher. Kimi's car, lap 49, had a puncher. For me, the Alfa Romeo, the cars in the grid, I think Alfa Romeo is the worst car. I don't care what anybody said. You can put what you want in the comment section. It don't bother me. My opinion is that Alfa Romeo is the slowest car. It's the worst car out of the lot. They got last a few weeks ago. I think they got last a few weeks ago. The car don't look good. Kimi's breaking down. Alright, he's a puncher. A lot of people getting punchers, but look at the results. Look at the results. To me, Alfa Romeo, from where there was last season now, it's disappointment. The Alfa Romeo are nowhere, and that's it. Williams has improved, still not there yet, but they've improved a bit. But Alfa Romeo hasn't. They've gone down. I think Haas is better than Alfa Romeo, in my opinion. I just think they are. Sometimes they get a bit bad luck goes against them. I just think they've got a better car. So Max, he gets a punch after lap 49. Max, this is where it starts. This is where the race started to get excited. So I fell asleep for most of the race. I had to go rewind on Sky. Let's face it, it was a toilet break race. If you wanted to go to the toilet, go to the toilet. If you wanted to go and lie down for 20 minutes, you wouldn't have missed nothing. Just set for about 100 safety cars. That's it. That's all. Nothing exciting. But lap 49, it started to get excited. Lap 49, Max was gaining on Bottas, because before Max was gaining on Bottas, Bottas was saying to his engineer, I'm getting vibration from my car. Lewis' tyres were blistering up. Bottas' tyres were blistering up. And in my opinion, I blame Bottas. At the beginning of, halfway through the race, Bottas was getting fast lap. Then Hamilton was getting fast lap. Bottas was getting fast lap. Hamilton was getting fast lap. Bottas was trying to push and try. Listen, you ain't going to win the race, mate. You should have knew 20 minutes in that you was not going to win the race. I don't care what you say. You're not going to win. You're not going to win here. If Hamilton's got a couple of seconds on you, you've lost. If there's no safety car going to come in and no interruption, you've lost. You should have played the team game and stayed in second place, at least for a little bit, to manage your tyres. Because if you would have done that, you wouldn't have got them nasty blisters on your tyres. What nearly ruined the race for the both of you. That's what could have happened. You had to push, didn't you? You couldn't just leave it alone. You couldn't just settle for second. You couldn't just get the second points. No, you had to push. You had to be greedy, and look what happened. Look what happened. You didn't get nothing. You didn't get nothing. You're complaining on your radio, oh, the vibration. Yeah, you done it. You done it. You caused the vibration. You're the one was pushing and pushing and pushing. You know what Mercedes cars like with the heat with the tyres? You know. You was 5 seconds in front of Max Verstappen. 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Should have just managed your tyres and accept that you was going to come second. But you couldn't do it, could you? You couldn't do it. You had to go, no, Valtteri Bottas, I'm going to try and win. No! There was no way you was going to win. No chance. And you kept pushing and pushing, and you could have messed it up for both of you. There could have been 2 DNS Mercedes, and both of you could not. You know deep down when you go home tonight, and you're lying in your bed, and you're cuddling your pillow. You know deep down it's your fault. I don't care what anybody says. You can come on the comment section, and you can comment all you want. It don't matter to me. I'll comment back, don't worry. I'll comment back. But for me, Bottas nearly lost on the race. He had to keep pushing and pushing, didn't he? He couldn't just let it go. Couldn't let it go. You should have saved your tyres at least for the halfway of the race. And if you want to go for a push at the end, go for it. But you burnt your tyres out and it got, look, lap 49, your tyres are, Max is gaining on you. Vibration. What happens? Lap 50, boom, tyres go. Tyres go. You nearly had a D. Well, you more or less had a DNF because you didn't finish with no points. You didn't finish with no points. Lap 50, tyres go off. Max passes you. There you go. Just because your stupid pride, you had to try and push your tyres early on in the race. Early on. How could nobody on the radio was telling him, manage your tyres? You should have managed your tyres. Stupid! At the same time, Bottas tyres went. At the same time, Valtteri Bottas tyres went. Exactly the same time. Albon passes Vettel into 11th place. So Albon was on a goer. He come out. He put the medium tyres on, and he made up a lot of places. Fair play to Albon. He made up a few places. Hats off to him. I'll give him respect for that. Lap 50. This is when it started to get exciting. This is when my front door flew off the hinges. I had guys in my living room, all my mates in the room sitting there watching the Grand Prix. And as soon as Crafty, look, I should be sending Crafty, I know it weren't his fault, I should be sending Sky Sports a bill for my front door. Literally from my front door. Was there watching it, and what happened? Lap 51. Lap 50. We see a black Mercedes. And then the name comes up at the bottom, Lewis Hamilton, and it says Lewis Hamilton has now got a puncture, and my front door flew off its hinges. You had my mates running into the car, driving in the car, thinking of Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes, driving off, and then it come up at the bottom of the screen that it wasn't Lewis Hamilton, it was Valtteri Bottas, and he goes, sorry, it's my mistake. It wasn't your mistake. It was the guy who was doing it on the TV. That guy twinkling around with the TV. It wasn't Crafty's fault. So I shouted, I got my big megaphone out. Oi! Oh! It's okay! It's okay. It's not Lewis, it's Bottas. They heard me. They all come back, sat back down on the sofa. Everything was cool. So we said, look, it's not Hamilton, it's Bottas. Lap 51, Max picked for the soft tyres. Now, to me, Lewis has got the best luck in F1. He's got good luck. Because if his tyres would have come off just before Max... If his tyres would have come off before Max pitted, Max would have won his race. Hands down. Max would have been on top of that podium and he would have won this race. Hands down. And I would have clapped. Because Max done good in that car today. He was in the Red Bull. And he done good. He didn't keep up with the Mercedes, obviously. But he still done good. And if he would have won the race, I would have said, good for you, mate. Good for you. Lap 51. Max pits. Puts the soft tyres on. He wanted to go for... He knew he passed Bottas. Because Bottas was going around the track with his wheel hanging off. Debris going everywhere. It looked like he wasn't even going to make it back to the pits. When his tyres come off, it was right just past the finish line. So we had to go all the way around. It was like he had so much time. He was losing so much time on them wheels Them tyres were hanging off. Tyres were flying off everywhere. I thought he was going to go into the barrier. Literally. I thought he was going to go into the barrier or to the stones, and that would have been over. That would have been over for him. His confidence as well would have been... His confidence is shot now. His confidence is shot. We know how this movie goes. We know how it all goes. We know. He comes to the beginning of the season. He wins the race. Yes! Yes! And then what happens after? Lewis wins the race. Max wins the race. Bottas gets a DNF. Bottas crashes his car. Bottas goes to Mexico and smashes his car in practice, in qualifying. His confidence are going. His head's like this at the beginning of the season. Valtteri Bottas. And then he goes. And eventually, his head's down there. Even when he's 60 points behind Lewis Hamilton, he's still going to say he's not stressing. Yeah. Whatever, pal. Whatever. Valtteri Bottas. At the end of the day, you're a good driver. But you should have just managed the tyres. Do what Schumacher done in his career. Even though he knew he probably could have won the race and he didn't want to push it, he should just settle for third and fourth just so he could get the points. It's the points you needed. You could have got your points today and fight another day. You still got a lot of races to go. There's still a lot of races to go. But you had to try and push and push and push. You know what the Mercedes car's like with the tyres. You know there's probably the worst car for tyre, for heating up. You know, and the brakes and the tyres, and he still continued to push. Here was Lewis, trying to push Lewis. Lewis fastest lap, Bottas fastest lap. Lewis fastest lap, Bottas fastest lap. Lewis fastest lap, Bottas fastest lap. That's because Bottas was just pushing. He should have just chilled, settle for second, and if you want to make a push at the end, like I said, go for it. Go for it. Hopefully you can wait for a safety car, you're coming for some medium tyres, and then you go for it. But you couldn't do it, could you? Push. So, look. Lap 52, Sainz got a puncher. So there was Sainz out the race. Gutted for him. Whatever. He's out there. He got a puncher anyway. So Hamilton, lap 52, got a puncher. He got a puncher. But lucky for him, when he got a puncher, it wasn't like Valtteri Bottas when he just passed the pit lane. Nah, he had like a little bit of the track left. Max Verstappen comes on the radio and said, "Can we still do it?" And the engineer said, "Just go fast, go fast." You could see the time going down. He had 30 seconds in front of Max Verstappen on Hamilton's on his dashboard. 30 seconds on the screen, and all of a sudden it went down 29, 27, 25, 22, 20. And you just see Max boot it. When Hamilton was coming down the last sectors of the track, you see Max's car in the background trying to twist around. I thought he's going to catch him here, he's going to catch him here. At one point, I thought Lewis Hamilton was going to shank his car into the stones. I saw him go one corner, and he just jilted like that. I thought, here we go. He's going into the stones. This is when I couldn't believe it. I thought this race is amazing. It started off boring where you could just sit down, fall asleep. It was that boring, but the last 10 minutes, it was probably one of the best Grand Prix I've ever seen. The ending was phenomenal. Phenomenal. And then finally, he got through. Hamilton won the race, and he's now a record 7-time world champion at his home Grand Prix. 7 race wins. 7 race wins at the home Grand Prix. He's broke the record. Another record is broken. He's only about 4 away now from 3 or 4 race wins now away from breaking Michael Schumacher's racing record, and I think he's about 2 podiums away of breaking the podium record as well. He's got the pole record. He's got every record. He's gonna finish this season on a high, and now Bottas is 30 points behind it. He's 30 points behind Lewis Hamilton. Bottas 30 points. It could have been just a few points, but no, he couldn't do it, could he? He had to push. And for me, it was his fault. My opinion. That's it. He should have just managed the tyres. There were 5 seconds in front of Max. 5 seconds. Managed the tyres. That's all he had to do, but he couldn't do it. And that's how it finished. Hamilton got in the race. It was a good Grand Prix towards the end, like I've said. I'm going to go on this site now. I'm going to see. I'm going to do the final standings. I didn't bring them up. Let's have a look. Final standings. The latest and greatest. We'll have a look. Latest standings. So we're going to go with the Great Britain Grand Prix results. So we say we finished. We've got Lewis Hamilton, the winner. Second, Max Verstappen. Third. Oh yeah, and Bottas, by the way, at the end, he tried to get in the points, but Vettel weren't having it. Blocked him off. He couldn't pass Vettel, and he ended up coming 11th. So out of the points, Vettel got 1 point out of the race, and Valtteri Bottas come 11th with no points. So we just 30 points down behind Lewis. Lewis Hamilton, he's got first with 52 points. Second place, Max Verstappen with 52 points. Now 52 laps, I mean. But he got 25 points from this Lewis Hamilton, obviously, for the win. 19 points Max Verstappen got because he got fastest lap. And I think he got fastest... he got fastest lap. And he got player driver of the day, I think he did. I can't really... I think he got driver of the day. But his second place got 19 points. Third place is Charles Leclerc with 15 points. Fourth place, Daniel Ricciardo. I would have liked Daniel Ricciardo to get third, but he never. Daniel Ricciardo, fourth place, 12 points. Fifth place, Lando Norris with 10 points. Sixth place, Esteban Ocon, 8 points. Seventh place, Pierre Gasly with 6 points. Great drive from him. Finishing above Albon. Eighth place, Alexander Albon, 4 points. 9 points. Ninth place, Lance Stroll, 2 points. Disappointed race from him. Disappointed. Stuck behind that car all day, man. I think he was stuck behind the Haas. Just couldn't pass. Disappointing race. Disappointed. 10th place, Sebastian Vettel, 1 point. 11th place, Valtteri Bottas, 0. 12th place, George Russell, 0. 13th place, Carlos Sainz, 0. 14th place, Antonio Giovinazzi, 0. 15th place, Nicholas Latifi, 0. 16th place, Roman Grosjean, 0. You see, Kimi Räikkönen, 0. He got crashed. And then Daniel Fiat, DNF. And Kevin Magnussen, DNF. And Nico didn't even start. Nico Hülkenberg. So we're going to look at the drivers. How the points are. We've got Lewis Hamilton on 88 points. Valtteri Bottas in second, 58 points. 30 points behind Lewis Hamilton. Third place, we've got Max Verstappen, 52 points. Fourth place, Lando Norris. 36 points. Fifth place, Charles Leclerc, 33 points. And fifth place. Sixth place, Alexander Albon, 26 points. Sergio Perez, 7th place, 22 points. 8th place, Lance Stroll, 20 points. 9th place, Daniel Ricciardo, 20 points. Carlos Sainz, 10th place, McLaren, with 15 points. Esteban Ocon for Renault, 12 points. Pierre Gasly for AlphaTauri, 12 points. 13th place, Sebastian Vettel, 10 points. Sebastian Vettel, 13th place. I cannot remember the last time Vettel was 13th place. 14th place, Antonio Giovinazzi, AlphaTauri, 2 points. 15th place, Daniel Fiat, 1 point. 16th place, Kevin Magnussen, 1 point. And Nicholas Latifi, Kimi Räikkönen, George Russell, and Roman Grosjean with 0. Now, we're going to look at the interviews. We're going to pull up a few interviews. We're going to start off with Daniel Ricciardo. As you know, I can't show you no video because you can listen to the audio. Listen, if you hear any fan in the background, if you hear like a noise in the background, it's my fan. My fan's on. I'm sweating buckets in here. So if you hear the noise, I'm sorry about it, but it's staying on. So we've got Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo happy with Renault's big points. Advertisement probably. Of course there is. So we're going to move that over here.
Well, congratulations. What a result. P4 today. I mean, your pace seemed to surprise your competitors. Did it surprise you?
Yeah, at times for sure. Like towards the end it did, because on the restart with the hard, I struggled a lot with the front left tyre, and then in traffic it was getting worse and worse. So I thought we weren't going to be fast with the hard tyre, for that last part of the race, or the middle to the end. But then once I got in clear air, I was just able to push on it, and it held up. So yeah, I could see I was closing in on the McLarens a bit, and it looked like they were closing in on Charles. So we had pace, you know, it was good. And I saw actually Charles was like 1.1 seconds at the finish line in front, so quite close to a podium. But it was a good race for the team as well, 4th and 6th. Nice to get some big points. I know they're happy and relieved, so just a good one. You know, it was crazy, a lot of incidents with punches and that. So I saw Kvyat's, that looked quite big, but I heard he's okay.
Yeah,
so, yeah. Next week will be interesting with softer compounds, but I think it just forces us to do a 2-stop and yeah, maybe make it more exciting again.
So yeah, it was a good race for Ricardo, looking confident, looking happy, and he should have done well. I would have probably had him as driver of the day maybe, or Lando. So we've got another interview. We've got Charles Leclerc. I'm very happy with P3 at Silverstone. Says and reveals Charles Leclerc. This is only 60 seconds. Imagine. More advert. Sorry, I'm going to pause this.
Fantastic, what a result. I mean, that must be unexpected for the team, but you've had a really strong weekend throughout, and it's been some contrasting fortunes with your teammate.
Yeah, I'm very happy with P3, even though I obviously know that we've been lucky to be on P3, but even with P4 I was very happy with the way we managed the race. It's sure that we don't want to be fighting for fourth for so long, but at the moment it's the way it is. And I'm very happy though that we gave it everything and that we maximized what we had in hands. So in terms of strategy, tire management, it wasn't easy, and we managed to make it work, so I'm very happy.
And so what does that mean for next weekend? Can you build on this from here?
Yes, surely. We will still be as aggressive as the approach we've taken for this weekend in terms of downforce, which makes it even harder for the race and for the tire degradation. But we've learned a few things this weekend, and I hope we can improve from there.
Outstanding confidence, saying that he can probably improve on the next race. They've improved. He thinks they can improve. If they can, that'd be good. Good for them, isn't it? I don't think they will, but you know, good for them. So we've got Max Verstappen. He's saying happy with Bottas. Verstappen happy with Bottas. He's happy with Bottas' present despite missing out on victory. Imagine. Max is turning into a comedian lately. I like it.
Max, if we had said that you would have got P2 today, you'd have been delighted and grabbed it with both hands, but
I am.
you could have got the win. It's kind of crazy to think that was
Yeah.
almost on for it, but how do you kind of juggle that in your own mind?
Well, I mean, could have, would have, should have. You know, in a way, Lewis got lucky, but also unlucky because he got a puncture. At the end of the day, they were way faster than us, so they deserved to win that race. And I'm happy with second because I had a little present, of course, with Valtteri having a puncture. You know, so once he got a puncture, we were like, okay, well, we're gonna just make sure that we are second. So we boxed, put new tires on, and do the fast lap. And then, in a way, it's unlucky. Then, of course, you lose it by 5 seconds because Lewis gets a puncture. But is that lucky or unlucky? I don't know. I'm happy with second today.
That sounds like the right attitude. A bit of a lonely race at times, though. So much so you could chat away and suggest that.
I had to
they keep
remind my
rehydrated.
engineer to hydrate.
Exactly.
You know, it's
That's
very important to hydrate.
Very nurturing of you, I thought.
Yeah.
So where does this leave you ahead of next weekend? Because we're obviously back here racing again very soon, and we have seen an improvement in performance with the car, haven't we?
Yeah, but you could see in the race, you know, I'm 4 or 5 tenths off every lap, and I'm a second faster than the cars behind. So, yeah,
It's going to be lonely again.
It's very lonely. It's very well. In a way, it's not too bad, but I want to fight for victories. You know, of course, it's good that the guys behind are not able to fight with you, but of course, we want to close that gap to the guys ahead, which is a big gap, which will not be closed for next week. But we'll try again. As you can see, you know, today, with 3 laps to go, a lot happens. Because before that, for me, it was very boring. But yeah, it's what it is. You know, we'll just keep pushing and try.
So the right attitude for Max Verstappen. He's saying he's 1 second by the people behind him are 1 second behind him, but he's 3.5 seconds behind the two guys in front of Mercedes. He just wants to fight. Maybe he'll get his chance this season. Probably try and get a race from maybe, but I just can't see it. I just can't. Unless Mercedes have DNFs both. That's the only way. That's the only way. I just can't see them long if them tyres hold. That's it. And as the season progresses, they're going to go later on into the winter, so the cold tyres, the cold conditions are going to favour the Mercedes. So if he's going to get a win now, if he wants to win, he's got to try and get it now while it's hot, because that's when Mercedes suffer with the temperature and the brakes and the tyres. So, who's next? Let's go for. It's got a few more left. Let's get. We'll see. We've got one of Vettel. Yeah, let's go on Vettel. Well, Vettel said P10 British Grand Prix was very poor. Declares Sebastian. Adverts again.
Seb, was one of the most difficult weekend of your career, thinking about the feeling with the car, the result?
No, I mean, the result was very poor, but you know, the car was very difficult to drive. I struggled a lot to find my confidence, and I don't know why, so we need to have a good look. But certainly, you know, if I struggle for so many laps in the race and it was the beginning till the end, then yeah, there's something that probably doesn't stack up. So yeah, you know, you don't. I mean, it was not a very stressful race. I just didn't have a chance. People around me were faster than me. I got overtaken. It was very difficult to manage myself to stay on track. So you know, physically it was not a tough race at all, because I could never attack. The car didn't allow me to, you know, to do what I like. So now we need to have a look why, and obviously we have the next weekend, so we can try and do better.
Maybe as the setup of the car of this weekend penalized you a bit?
No, not really. On paper, both cars are pretty similar, so it's not the setup. I mean, we need to have a look. Obviously, you know, it's also, if you look around the lap, there's not one place where maybe I'm driving poorly or you know, there seems to be an issue. It's the whole lap where I'm losing time. So yeah, we'll have a look.
So Sandy dejected, and he should do. Vettel's not in there. But there's rumours going around now that he might have his place already set either at Mercedes, maybe. This is what Ted Kravitz said on his show on Sky Sports about 40 minutes ago. No, not 40, an hour ago, because I'm 48 minutes into the video now. He's saying there's rumours that he might have the deal nearly set, either Aston Martin or maybe Mercedes. So we'll see how it goes. We're going to have two more. We're going to have Valtteri Bottas. Disappointed Bottas. Unlucky. Late tyre issue. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Valtteri, I mean, just so dramatic. You could and should have been on the podium today, but then that massive tyre failure at the end there. You had vibrations a bit earlier on in the race. How much were you having to manage it, and at what point did you realise it had just gone past the point of no return?
Of course, really disappointing and very unlucky. Also where I got the puncture, so I had to go around the whole lap. So not ideal, but we knew it's going to be a long stint with the hard tyres, so yeah, of course I was trying to put pressure on Lewis, but towards the end I was starting to get more and more vibration. I reported that, and then at the end, you know, I had in my mind that who knows, there could be an issue. So yeah, of course I started to manage a bit, but it was just like happened like this, so sudden, and I couldn't really predict it happening. So
you burn your tyres out, mate.
Yeah.
You burnt them out.
Not much more to say.
That's what you did.
I mean, pretty big implications for next weekend. Potentially hotter temperatures and softer compounds. How much of a concern is that?
Yeah, it's going to be an issue for everyone. So yeah, for sure, one stop is not going to happen with the compounds we have next week. So I'm sure there will be lots of things learned from this weekend. But yeah, just need to move on, I guess.
Yeah, so that's it. On to Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton said, when my tyre went, my survival instinct kicked in. Yeah, it did. The man, trust me, his back was up against that wall, man, when them tyres went. Oh, this is the last interview from Lewis Hamilton. I'm going to sign out now. And when I finish, you can see my end screen and you can like, subscribe. If you do see the video, don't forget to like the video or whatever. You can like the video and subscribe. I've got a lot of videos coming in. I'm streaming on Twitch tomorrow, live on Twitch. I stream at least 4 times a week. So follow me on Twitch. I'll leave all the links below this video. Follow me, like. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe on Twitter and like the video, whatever you want to do. But this is Solo P1 of the 2020 F1 British Grand Prix race day review. And this is me going to disappear. I'm going to leave you with the Lewis Hamilton video, and the video is going to end. See you later, guys. Bye.
The thing is that the history books will forever remember that you've got a record number of wins here at the British Grand Prix. What might get forgotten is the drama at the end there, where you were limping over the line and everyone's hearts are in their mouths. Just describe that moment for us and how you react to it.
Ultimately, it's your heart drops. Obviously, up until then, everything was feeling relatively fine. I heard of course, of Valtteri's tyre going, and for me, I looked after my tyres. I thought relatively well, and but I backed off. I was like, okay, I'm gonna back off a little bit, and not be pushing through the corners, particularly the right-handers, because it's the left-hand tyre. And coming to the last lap, everything seemed chill, relaxed, and then just down the straight, the tyre gate just deflated. Now I'm really so grateful that it didn't happen through a high-speed corner, because imagine it's through cops or something like that, it would have been a disaster. But it happened there, and for the moment I just told the team deflation, and then I nearly didn't make it through the next 2 corners, particularly turn 7. And rather than panicking, I was like, okay, how do I get this thing home? I only have like less than half a lap or whatever it is to get back. How can I get back? Am I going to lose this race? All these questions start going, and like, no, just keep going, keep up the power, keep up the speed. And as I try to accelerate, the tyre starts to deflate more, and I'm thinking I'm going to lose the wing. Maybe the wing will go under the car. You have all these different scenarios that face you, and the thing doesn't want to turn right, obviously, because it's busted tyre. So I don't know. I made some switch changes to lock all the diff, and just tried my hardest to get round without losing too much time. And I could hear him catching me. Just 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 19, 15, 10, 7, and I'm thinking, geez, this is one of the most horrible feelings, hearing someone catch you that lap when you get overtaken just before the line or something. But thankfully, with everyone's support, we managed to bring it home.
Unbelievable stuff. So dramatic. Obviously,
but the thing is, I don't know why I managed to be cool during the period, but I guess
none of us do.
I had no choice. I think it's survival instincts come over you, and that's really what I was thinking. I was like, I come all this way, I'm not going to pull over, I'm not going to back off completely and let everyone drive past. So I'm like, how can I still get there with taking as much risk as possible without losing the car altogether? So I think that was it.
Massive sigh of relief, but it doesn't really look great for next weekend because it's going to potentially be higher temperatures, softer compounds. Is it a concern?
Yeah, probably. But it's something I don't have to think about right now. I think that's something for the other guys to probably stress about. I think it was me and Valtteri had quite different setups this weekend, and I think he had great pace particularly at the start. He was pushing so hard. I know what it's like to be in his position, following behind and pushing, trying to get a position where you can use DRS and that. And so naturally I had to be pushing quite a lot more than normal because he was that quick, and I was able to answer to him, but in doing so I'm sure he was using his tyres way too much, hence his tyre went a little bit earlier than mine, and I probably also did the same thing, so right to the limit.
Absolutely. Well done. Before you go, I think it's important that we just note the progress that's been made.
I told you used his tyres too much.
We heard your pledges earlier, and it looked a much more unified image at the front of the grid. There was more thought went into it, more time taken over it.
Yeah.
Do you feel that? Do you feel the warmth, the progress that's being made?
No, absolutely. As I said coming into the weekend, I spent quite a long time talking to Ross and to Chase. I had a call with Ellie, who really works on that area. I was talking to Jean, so it was really great to get everyone on board, and obviously everyone realised, okay, we haven't done enough to this point. Let's really put some focus on how we set it up and do it better and make the sport look as professional as it should look. And so I think that was a good step, and hope we can continue with that. I think in the background the important thing is to follow through with the plans, to really make sure we push for equality within our sport, because hopefully that can transcend and encourage other companies and sports to kind of follow in the same direction.
So